Bears-Packers Thursday night. Let's be honest, if you're a Packers fan, you knew how this was going to go. And if you're a Bears fan, deep down, you ultimately knew how it was going to go. We've only seen this play out in large part over the past 2+ decades. So let's not pretend like we're surprised with what happened. Green Bay gets the ball, and they score right away. Because, of course they would. The Bears get the ball on offense. One play, Mike Glennon fumbles, turnover. Packers get the ball, and they score another touchdown. And before you know it, it's 14-0. Then, the Bears get the ball back. They drive a little bit, only to see yet another fumble by Mike Glennon. Bob's your uncle, what do you know? 2 turnovers already by Glennon in the first damn quarter. It's 14-0. And what do you know? Let's make things even more nuts and add in a 47-minute weather delay. Because that's what we needed for this Thursday night game that we knew was going to be bad and was going to be a blowout, is to extend it by almost an hour. An hour! For lightning! Shit. Unbelievable. So the lightning delay ends and the Bears come back. And it's more of the same. Glennon throws a pick. The Packers proceed to take the ball into the end zone. It's 21-0. And even though the Bears scored a touchdown late at the end of the first half to pull within 21-7, if you didn't know by this point in time, you did now, the game was over. The Bears had no chance. Absolutely no chance. You can't be scared of your quarterback. You can't expect to be able to score 7.5 points against a team with the offensive caliber and firepower of Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers and expect to hang around for very long. So, even with that said, they still had to play the second half for formality's sake. The Bears surrendered a pair of Aaron Rodgers touchdown passes to Jordy Nelson, throw in a garbage time Jordan Howard touchdown run halfway through the fourth quarter, and the game ends up 35-14. Not a lot of positives to talk about here with the Bears. Just not a lot of positives. This was a fine exhibition of this great, legendary, epic, all-time NFL rivalry right for you prime time on Thursday Night Football. Let's talk about some good, bad, and ugly from this game. The good, you really got to look for the good. The good being is the Bears season is 25% of the way over. The quicker the better. Number 2, if you're a Cubs fan, Major League Baseball's playoffs start this upcoming week, so you will have a distraction. If you're not a Cubs fan, but maybe you're a Blackhawks fan, hockey season is right around the corner. Either way, you don't have to worry about the Bears much longer because you already know their season is done. And at least if anything else, the Bears have given us the courtesy of letting us know from Jump Street that this was going to be yet another lost season. So we have no delusions of grandeur, no illusions of this or that. We know what it is, and we know what the deal is. And we can start looking forward to the Cubs and their playoff run in the quest to repeat. We can look forward to the Blackhawks and their season. Anything other than the Chicago Bears. The bad. A 47-minute lightning delay. This is cruel and unusual punishment. Knowing that this game was going to be a blowout in my mind, I didn't need to perpetuate it any more than it absolutely had to be. It was long enough. Didn't need almost another hour added on to the bitch. Especially when you look at the other bad, which was, of course, Mike Glennon. He's supposed to be your veteran, your game manager. 4 turnovers. Like, what good argument can you make for this clown giraffe neck starting another game for this team this year? Unbelievable. Like you see on the one side, as we have for 2.5 decades as Bears fans, watching players like Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers, you see what a franchise Hall of Fame quarterback looks like. Then you look at your team and you say, oh. And Giraffe Neck doing his best to show himself to be the worst starting quarterback in the league, and he's doing a bang-up job of it so far. The ugly, though, Danny Trevathan's hit on Davante Adams. As much as I wish the NFL could go back to playing a more physical style, didn't have some of the rule changes, didn't emphasize so much of the player safety, it does. And even in that case, even if it does, there are just certain things that are outside of the bounds. And I cannot get down with leading with the crown of your helmet with a guy that's already wrapped up, using an excuse that you're trying to make a play and you didn't have a chance to stop. Yeah, you did. Danny Trevathan could have seriously hurt Davante Adams. He could have paralyzed the man. He could have ended the man's career. He could have potentially ended the man's life. And I'm sorry, Bear fan or not, Packers or not, there's just no excuse for that. And Danny Trevathan should not only be fined, he should be suspended because there's no place for that Bush League bullshit, period. A lot of you probably expect me to give you some type of 2-minute drill, bitching once again about why is Mike Glennon still starting for the Chicago Bears, why isn't Mitchell Trubisky getting his opportunity. I will touch on that in its own video. I'd rather talk about something else now, from a Bears fan perspective. I'm tired, for the vast majority of my life, being in a situation as a Bears fan where I am nothing more than the Green Bay Packers bitch. It's that simple. The Bears now are the Packers bitch. And it's sad because for so many years, even where there was those periods of time, some under Curly Lambeau and especially the Lombardi Packers of the 60s, where the Packers had their moments where they dominated the series. But throughout the course of the entirety of the history, from the 20s going all the way through the 80s, by and large, this series was dominated by the Chicago Bears. They had the major edge in the one-loss column. They were the team that more often than not dominated the Packers. It was the Packers that looked up to the Bears at certain stretches of time, not the Bears always looking up to the Packers. And you think about during Sweetness's career, Walter Payton, his time with the Bears from 75 to 87. The Bears were 17-7 against Green Bay. Ditka's time from 82 to 92. He won a Super Bowl, but the other thing he did, he consistently handled business against Green Bay. 15-5 during that stretch. That doesn't even mention the 82 strike shortened season where there was no Bear-Packer game that year. 15-5. That's a 75% winning percentage against the Packers. Ditka handled business against the Cheeseheads. But we're long past those days of the Bears being competitive or relevant to the Green Bay Packers in their reality. Since the beginning of that 1992 season, it was 25 plus seasons later, the Chicago Bears are 14-37 against the Packers. Why do I start with 1992? Because that was Brett Favre's first year as a starter for Green Bay. Think about that. Over the course of 25 plus seasons, the Bears have only won 14 out of a grand total of 51 games against the Packers. I'm not even including the postseason loss in the 2010 NFC Championship game. Let's not even bring up that bitter pill to swallow. During that stretch from 1992 to the present, the Green Bay Packers have won 12 division titles. Back when it was the NFC Central, down to the NFC North, the Bears have won 4. The Green Bay Packers have 16 10-plus win seasons. The Chicago Bears have 4. The Green Bay Packers have made it to the playoffs 19 times over the past 25 seasons. The Bears, 5. While the Chicago Bears have had 30 different men as their starting quarterback since the 1992 season, the Green Bay Packers have had 2 primary starters, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. The Packers since 1992 have played in 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them, made several other NFC Championship games. The Chicago Bears have played in 1 Super Bowl and lost said Super Bowl. This dates back to when I was 11 years of age. I am now 36 years old. The vast majority of my life, all I know is being the Packers bitch. When is enough for this Bears organization? Now, granted, if the Chicago Bears lost to the Green Bay Packers twice every single year, but would make deeper runs in the playoffs and won more Super Bowls, made Super Bowl appearances that the Packers didn't, I really wouldn't care that much. It would be an annoyance, but it would be an annoyance that in the grand scheme of things was insignificant because, okay, great, the Packers beat us twice, but they can sit there and watch the Bears on TV when the Bears are in the Super Bowl. Who gives a shit? That's what matters. Even going back to the days of Lovie Smith when he said in his introductory press conference the number 1 goal of the program was to beat Green Bay. The hell it is. The number 1 goal of the program is to win the Super Bowl. Period. With that said, though, beyond question, throughout the past 25 years, the vast majority of that time, the Green Bay Packers have been the gold standard in that division. And from a Chicago Bears standpoint, at some point in time, if you ever want to take over that mantle and you want to be the new standard of the division, you've got to start beating the Green Bay Packers more consistently. And just from a fan standpoint, it is an absolute embarrassment and a joke knowing twice a year heading into what is supposed to be the biggest, most important rivalry game in football and the game that I'm supposed to look forward to the most, I really don't give a shit because I know more often than not how this is going to play out. And even if it doesn't play out that way, it's usually because of a fluke. 18 penalties called. That's one of the times Cutler actually beat him. Another time in 2013, the Bears put Aaron Rodgers out early. Seneca Wallace ended up playing the rest of the game, and that was with Josh McCown. So it's this type of bullshit. I think back to 99 in the Walter Payton game up in Lambeau where Brian Robinson blocked the field goal at the end of the game. This is the type of crap it would take, traditionally, historically, for this team to be able to beat Green Bay. And it all ties in directly into this team having 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in back-to-back runs, and the Chicago Bears having 25 years where they don't know what the hell they're doing with the quarterback position. You can say there are other factors, but this is the one that matters the most. And after so many years, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the Packers always getting the better of the Bears. I'm tired of the Bears being the Packers' bitch. I'm tired of the fact where I don't even feel like I'm in a position where I can talk any type of trash to the Packers whatsoever, because what's the point? And frankly, Packers fans have gotten to the point where they'd rather worry about the Vikings and the Lions. The Bears play third fiddle within that division when it comes to rivals, and this is supposed to be the oldest rivalry in football. Age of rivalry in no way, shape, or form directly correlates with importance and significance and meaning of said rivalry. You ask Packer fans now, their number one rival is the Minnesota Vikings, and it's not even close. Like Bears fans, I don't even think get that hyped up for Packers games anymore either because they know they're just going to fucking lose. And as embarrassing as it is for this team to consistently not make the playoffs, as embarrassing as it is for this team to consistently screw up year in and year out, and as embarrassing as it is to see the fact that the last time this Bears team made a really, really deep run, it was with Rex Grossman as their starting quarterback, and of all people they had to lose to in the Super Bowl was Peyton freaking Manning. The single most annoying thing is that my preteen, my teenage, and all of my adult years have long been spent, for the most part, looking up at Green Bay and calling them daddy. I'm tired of it. It needs to stop. Because at this point in time, a Bears-Packers game just feels like another game. And that should never be how it is. So all this crap about this and that or everything else, I'm just tired of losing to those fucking cheeseheads twice a year. And this Bears team, this Bears organization, seeming not to give a shit about it. Enough is enough. Am I going to be looking back in 25 more years and still saying the same damn thing? I most certainly hope not. This game was a joke and it was an embarrassment, and it's a perfect representation of what this Bears-Packers non-existent rivalry has been over the past 2.5 decades.